Hello, everyone. It's Marta, the business healer. So, most of us are used to doing things a certain way. And what we learn very early on is totally beautiful and works for a long time and works for many people. But I decided, I learned, I observed, it did not work for me forever. So, that's the hard way. And the hard way is using logic and action only and relying on this as your default. Why is this the hard way? Well, in my life, I followed a script that I thought was supposed to be the script that I followed up to a certain point, and then the script broke down. So I thought I needed to get a college education. I thought I needed to get a good job. I thought I needed to be in a partnership, and that partnership didn't work out so great. I suffered a lot, and I just suffered as a result of many aspects of following the script. There's nothing wrong with the script, but I didn't also have a lot of life experience and personal discernment at the time to be able to make sense of how to live better. And what I found was when I kept doubling down on logic and action as my default, things just got worse. So people pleasing got me in trouble following the script because I thought the script was, if I'm nice, I will get results. If I am somebody that people like, then I will have the kind of life that I imagine for myself. This actually doesn't work, but this idea of wanting to be liked and operating from logic and action and what makes sense, for a long time, what made sense on paper, when I actually made those decisions and took those choices to heart, I was the person who ended up suffering because I had this ideal of needing to be liked to get the kind of things that I wanted in my life. So I decided when things in my life started to really break down and I was seeing that I was the through line in the things in my life that were breaking down, that it was time to try something else. Doing it not the hard way, doing it the easy way. And the easy way is using energy. Not surprising, hearing from an energy worker that energy is the easy part, but stick with me. I have real life examples of people who are not energy workers who did it their way and were very successful with a lot less pain. So, for instance, my grandfather. My grandfather had a high school education and he was always somebody who was super good with numbers. He was growing up during the Depression. And he was a very enterprising young man, and he started a shoe shine business. He carried milk. He did all sorts of different kinds of things just to make a living. But the thing that was his magic was he was excellent with people. There was something about Grandpa's energy that just when you were with him, you were enchanted, you were entranced, you wanted to be with him, your worries melted away, you felt physically amazing, you felt like there could be nothing wrong with life. So he had such charisma and such passion, and he was a very, very successful business person because people just were drawn to him. People were magnetized to him. He had an incredible personal power. He ran his own dry cleaning business for many, many years, highly successful, and he started that from nothing. And in his retirement, he worked for the state of Ohio in the Ohio Turnpike in the treasurer's office. He was a high up person doing numbers. So how did he do that without a college education? How did he do that was he was really good with numbers, he was really good with money, and he was really good with people. And he made an impression on anyone who came across him. He was one of those people who was impossible to forget. So he did not get those jobs only because of his resume. He got them because there was something inside him that was super powerful that people just couldn't get enough of. And he was not a manipulative guy. This was a person of faith. This is somebody who showed up for himself. He worked hard. He had a really hard life, but he always saw the good in things and he just created success for himself. Grandpa made things happen because he just had a way of mobilizing people and mobilizing energy, and it was phenomenal. And he died when I was 11 years old, but he to this day is like the cornerstone of what I think about when I think of personal power. he was a candy striper, a volunteer at the hospital in his retirement, and people were always wanting to shove money in his pockets. Like, he'd come home and he would always refuse it, but he would find it in his pockets, and he'd try to seek out the people the next day saying, like, this is my joy to share a moment with people. So he was very, very well loved. I have a client who is a film composer, and we were working last year, so we were talking a lot about mindset. And this person had been putting out all these pitches to different studios, wanting to meet with people who could get him work as a film composer. And somehow, through the work that we were doing, thinking about what was happening inside him when he was making these pitches, putting him in this place of confidence, putting him in this place of imagining good things working out for him. And there were a couple of opportunities that dropped out of the sky, an opportunity to speak with a bunch of Netflix executives who were very excited about the work. And also an agent came out of nowhere just because they liked this person and how they did business. And we spent a lot of time talking about and thinking about what was the energy of the thoughts and feelings that he was bringing to the table. And we practiced flowing energy toward the results that we desired. So really cool things happened. That's another video, but it was a powerful example of how a couple of tweaks to what's happening inside and moving energy inside can have a huge impact on what happens outside. And I've done this for myself. I decided I was going to be independent. I was then by myself being independent, and it was not the funnest thing. So I moved energy inside me, and I started to attract a lot of really beautiful people into my life because I saw that I'm a person who not just wants to be liked and have that be my defining characteristic, but I genuinely love people. And rather than worry about interactions or like, where do I stand with people, I just decided I'm going to be confident in that I love people, and that's all I need. That's where my energy be focused, be on enjoying people, celebrating people, and being in space with people. And I'm very grateful. I have such a beautiful network of people in my life now. So thank you if you're watching. I really appreciate it. So I'm on a mission now to teach this way, which is not the hard way where we use logic and we use a lot of effort and action, but we start to move energy first. I'm not saying you don't use logic and action, but I say we use those after we have what's inside us in harmony with the possibilities and the things that we desire, so that they're more likely to manifest, to come into our lives more easily and in a more joyful way. So people who want to make change can do that when they tune into what's happening on the inside and they clean up the energy. So if you think about powerful leaders or spiritual figures, these are people who are not like working from a plan. These are people who would walk in a room and things would happen. This still happens. I wonder if you have an example. Let me know in the comments if you do. An example of somebody who just walked into the room and you did whatever they wanted because they just had this magnetism about them. So that's the easy way, using energy, not just logic and action, which is what we learned, which is fine, but energy is a tool that you can use for beautiful, amazing results that you might not even believe you can get until you start using this. So let's move some energy as an example. So, all right, so put your hands like this. I'd like you to imagine that you have an apple in your hand. And put some energy toward that apple, like visualize it, imagine it, really see it, feel it, and then measure the weight. Are your palms still equal? For me, this one is heavier, right? All right, so let's just disintegrate that. What would happen if we were able to quantify the thoughts and feelings that we cannot see? And by the way, thoughts and feelings are real, just like energy. We can't see energy. We can't see thoughts and feelings. Well, some of us can see energy. But when we actually recognize that these things, even though they're invisible, they have a big role in our lives, we can start to move energy more easily. So let's do a thought experiment. So based on that, I'm not going to ask you to do this in your hand, but maybe find a nice neutral place on the ground and I'll sensitize your hands. Put your hands like this. Focus on the center of your palms. Inhale, exhale. And I want you to think about projecting a negative thought. Something like, I don't like myself. I don't believe in myself. Money is hard. I hate work. Whatever it is, just like that negative thing, just project to that place. And now, with the place where your intention has gone, I want you to feel the ground around that, and then feel the ground around over that spot where you projected those thoughts and feelings. For me, I don't feel anything, and then I feel something. And it feels kind of sticky, it feels kind of hot, it feels a little tingly out of you here. So those are negative thoughts. Those take up space, even though we can't see it. So, okay, imagine disintegrating that, maybe throwing it into the ocean or throwing it to the central sun. Definitely get rid of it, disintegrate it, erase, 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 erase. Okay? And now, again, it's gone, right? So thoughts and feelings have energy. And when we have negative stuff inside us, it takes up space. And when we want to bring in the good stuff, we want to clear the space so that then we can fill that with the things that we truly desire. So what we're talking about is a principle of what's happening inside affects what's happening outside. So if we then fill that space with, I feel confident, I know I can do anything, I know I can solve any problem that comes into my lap, I know that money is my birthright, I know that I am a divine being that came here for something important. Like, those have a different quality than the negative thoughts that we were talking about. So what are the kinds of things that you might want to adjust, or what are the thoughts and feelings taking space inside yourself that are not actually providing you the results you want? And here's the thing. We use logic, we use action, and then things don't change. And we try to keep imagining good things, but like there's still space inside us being taken up by our thoughts and our feelings, most of which are negative and focused on what is not working. Okay. So the reason we don't seem to move past that and we don't seem to get where we want to get is that we can't put new thoughts and new energy in space that's being taken up by other things. Old things, patterns, habits of thinking. A lot of these are thought forms that have been with us for years, perhaps generations. That's a fundamental law of matter. Two objects cannot take up the same space at the same time. That's also true with energy. If your energy is full, there's no space in there. Good luck bringing in the things that you desire. So hard way is only using logic and action, and things move, and then usually they plateau or they stop, or then something interrupts them that is then another thing that we need to adapt to. It's the long way. So what I'm teaching people through this work of business healing is the easier way, which is line up your energy, clear what no longer serves you, clear what's been taking up space in your energy, and then we fill it up with possibilities and positive thoughts. But what are the things you want to change for yourself where you recognize there are things holding you back? Maybe you don't feel satisfied, or you don't feel fulfilled with your career. Maybe you don't love your relationship with your body. Maybe there's something there that is negative self-talk most of the day. Maybe you want a partner and you don't really know how that's going to happen, or you've been burned before and you're a little hesitant to bring somebody in, or you really, really feel like you're ready and that person just isn't coming. Maybe it's that you're overworking and you're forgetting to enjoy your life, or maybe there's a relationship or a family situation that is causing pain. So these are all things that actually take up space and our energy, and because we can't see it, we're probably not aware of it. But that doesn't mean it's not there, and it doesn't mean it's not available to be released or transmuted. And when we move energy, that is really what we're doing. We are transmuting what is inside from taking up space in a negative way to releasing and clearing and allowing those things to move up. We can use energy as a tool to help us address the things that we have been experiencing that we don't want to experience, and also help us address, shift, and move to other, newer, different places. And that means in our lives, in our careers, in our finances, wherever it is. So what is it that's been bothering you that you'd like to get a handle on? Think about it for a minute. You can put it in the comments if you like. What if you tried a different approach? We have to unlearn. Unlearning is a huge part of the process because we have our neural pathways. We've been practicing thoughts, we've been practicing behaviors, we've been practicing beliefs. We learn them from ourselves out of, trying to be whole and trying to heal and trying to do the best we can, and from well-meaning people who wanted to protect us from pain. With that space that we create after we allow energy to move, we fill that space with new thoughts, new emotions, and that starts to reinforce the neural pathways, which then start to move in a different direction. So this is brain science in terms of like, when you think a different thing, it's super uncomfortable, and then you keep practicing and it becomes more comfortable. So rewiring your brain is possible, and in fact, that's part of what is required for us to do things the easy way. When we do it mentally, we start to move mental energy, we can move emotional energy, things on the outside start to change. What I've learned is this place of possibilities is actually pretty awesome. And again, most people revert to logic and action and waiting and logic and action, and then they get frustrated and they give up. So if you want to stay in that place, that's fine. I'm just suggesting there are other tools that are available to you. And that's what I am so excited about learning and teaching here in this work. So one way that I'm going to be teaching people how to move energy in this way, to create new neural pathways, as well as physically move energy through their energy bodies, is the Radiant and Magnetic program. It's an 8-week program where we move your focus to where you want it to be. We move your focus inside using energy first, and then we start to practice it. I train you how to use your energy, how to use your mental energy and your emotional energy, and then we practice it together in our group. So this is not here's a modality, you're by yourself, or here's a self-study guide. We are in it in community. We are learning from each other, and we are testing out the principles, and we're working it out together. We amplify our results when we work in a group, especially when we work with energy. It's kind of like when you're at a concert and everybody is ramped up and like the energy gets really high. That's a thing that happens in our groups when we're also moving energy together. There's just a sense of connectedness and amplification of results. And since a lot of people I work with in groups have similar breakthroughs, and they have similar challenges, and they have similar questions that they want to answer, it's such a healing space. And it's also just so fun to see people have breakthroughs and then to have your own breakthroughs. The program kicks off with a free masterclass that's open to anybody on January 17th. And that's a place where you can put it to the test. You can see, is this thing for me? Does this feel right for me? I always want to welcome people. If this resonates with you, if this feels right to you, you are welcome. If it's not for you, that's cool too. I won't take it personally, I promise. And we're just here to help with all the tools that we have available. So the masterclass is open to anybody. That's on Eventbrite now. You can get the link in the description box below. And then the kickoff is January 20th. This is designed to be a super low-key program where there are 4 group calls. There's a weekly half-hour segment that you need to attend that is your coaching time. And then we'll have an energy radiance treatment as part of this, where I get out my energy tools and I actually address if there are lines on your face or if there are things in your body that you would like to treat with energy. It's actually pretty cool to do those treatments. So that's included just as like a little bonus, fun, satisfying kind of thing, because we want to be radiant on the outside as well as on the inside and get to see the magic of energy when it is used on the skin. It's really beautiful. So I'm happy to be your guide in learning how to tap into the easy way of moving energy first, of really tapping into your inner radiance and practicing something new in group, in support, and with all the questions you could possibly want to ask. I am so happy that you watched to the end. I'm super grateful that you are here. If you have any questions, I want to make sure you have all of the information that you would like to have. Feel free to send me an email at hello@thebusinesshealer.com. Let me know what your questions are about radiant and magnetic. And otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day. Super grateful to be here. Thank you.